50. Yeah. It's 50 shades of life. Let's talk about your type. Are your pockets feeling light?
Does your man treat you right?
Is your sex game lame? Are you searching for some fame? Hey yo, cuz, let's talk about it. Sex, health, music, wealth, truth and self. I knew myself. Boy, you better not lose yourself. But let me mind my own black business. Running up these digits, fresher than them dishes.
Shall you grant your wishes? I'm a tarot reading witness.
Yeah. 5-0. Yeah, 50.
Welcome to 50 Shades of Life. All right. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Raquel Nicole. How are you doing? Welcome to 50 Shades of Life. And I have my beautiful cousin who is rocking the chocolate today. Magnolia.
The chocolate.
What's up?
Hello, everyone. Hi. And we are so happy to have our guest. Yes. Welcome.
Yes.
We're going to let Raquel introduce you, though, of course.
Yes. One of Detroit's own. And a wonderful HBCU graduate. So we'll get into the official bio later. But let's please welcome and a round of applause for Miss Nzinga Lejeune.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I like that name, too. It's giving hot. Like,
yeah. And I want to thank you all for creating this platform. I'm usually so busy, but I had to make sure I made time for this podcast because you two are wonderful women. A sister Soldier, she says women should have 360 degrees of power. Women are mothers, teachers, healers, givers, so many things. So having that 360 degrees of power of womanhood means a lot.
Yeah.
I wrote, and I'm a poet too, right? But I wrote a poem called Earth to Earth I want to share before we started.
Okay. All right, bring us on in. Go ahead, girl. This is your podcast. Do what you do.
This says Earth to Earth. No competition. We breathing. We healing. Past transgressions. We got we. You got me. I got you. We got he. He got he. Him to him. God got us. It don't matter who's against us. We need us. We got us. Earth to Earth. How marvelous you are raising us. Multitasking. We will always be the neck. Protect what is best. Ashes to ashes. Dust to dust. Earth to earth. Until the end of time, we sisters. Resurrect us. Stay beautiful sisters. We got us earth to earth.
Yeah. Good.
And this is from my third poetry book called Valley of the Moon. Just a wonderful poems about love, loving each other, sharing love, what type of love we want in life. So definitely check out that book.
Yes. Give us the title one more time.
Oh, it's called Valley of the Moon.
Valley of the Moon. So y'all see it right here.
Valley of the Moon. Yeah. Nice. I like that title.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that, Terry. So let me give you guys a little heads up of who this is. So first of all, this is a big sis for me. I'm just going to throw that out there. Second of all, she is one of the most dynamic individuals where we don't talk a lot, but I follow her and what she's doing. I may hit her up, on social media, like, hey, that type of like random moment. But she is one of the most like pro-Black, pro-women, like powerful people, which I love that in my circle. Hence why we have this podcast, this platform, we almost at a year. And so this is why we do certain things, which this segment is actually called 50 Shades of Black, where we highlight Black businesses, Black people. That is the reason why this segment exists, right? But so this is like, she's like the blackest of the blackest that we didn't brought on the podcast at this very moment.
So cool. The blackest of the black. Get out of here.
So first of all, tell us your name. I need them to understand the pronunciation. What does it mean? Because I know it has a meaning. So let's break that down first before I even get into the bio.
Right. Well, I'm a poet, and in a poetry circle, people give you a name. So people have given me the names of like Seventh Frequency, Love, a lot of people would name me that, but goddesses, we name ourselves. So my name is Nzinga Lejeune, named after the fierce African Angola queen of the Ndangu tribe, the Bantu people. And Lejeune, that's my daddy last name, is French, Creole, they from Louisiana. It means the young. So I incorporated that name with so much power because Queen Nzinga was just a fighter, and she was a fighter for her people. And so I, have a very big regard for her in that name. So that's how I got that name.
Yes, and if y'all behind her, she got some of the dopest artists right behind her head right now. We're gonna shout out to everybody I see. We got the Nas, the Lauryn Hill, the Kendrick Lamar, Casey. What else is over there?
Slum Village, local artists from Detroit.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of different artists. Just collecting vinyls, and they inspire me when I come into my office and see these powerful music, strong lyrics, and each album, and I have so many more. They just inspiration. So I just like looking at them, seeing them, and just, resonating on their lyrics. Because, I'm a writer and a poet. So, I think about those lyrics a lot. Yes.
So Talia, what was I going to say? So Talia's cheese. Let me see. Nzinga and Italia, Black Magnolia, are so much alike. Okay. They're not going to know this until the end of the show. They are very much alike. So see, Talia's over here like,
I know. I was like, damn, I am choosing a lot of her.
All right. I'm going to give you guys this bio. This is straight from her website, which is exactly her name. And so it's NzingaLejeune.com. So we can say it one more time. Nzinga Lejeune, LeJeune.com. All right. So you guys can go there and you can actually see the full write-up and all of her productions, which we're going to get into just some of those. But the main reason why we have her on here is because she has a brand new novel. I'm really excited to get into. Yes. So we're going to roll into this whole bio. All right. Nzinga Lejeune is a Detroit poet, author, screenwriter, and indie film producer. In 2017, y'all, she is not new to this, okay? She wrote a poetry book, children's book, and produced a documentary short all titled #Water Injustice about the Flint water crisis and illegal Detroit water shutoffs. Her second poetry book is titled Plandemic, not Pandemic, Plandemic. And the third title, Valley of the Moon, which she just read a nice little page from there. Her indie films include Check-In, about a friend who was murdered while teaching overseas and organs harvested. Black Fathers Matter, sci-fi short film Seventh Frequency, and upcoming feature boxing crime drama film Gratians. Currently a screenwriter on the new hit TV shows Street Legal and Street Legal South. I need to watch these, hold on. Right. Now, here comes the other good part. She is a graduate of the Martin Luther King Jr. Senior High School, Hampton University, BA. She got her BA degree in education, California State University multi-language learning, Marigold College master's degree in social justice, and in 2021, she completed the Harvard University's Women in Leadership Program for Emerging Leaders. Nzinga is CEO of Nzinga Lejeune Publishing and Films, editor-in-chief of Water Magazine. She is a teacher and organizer for Detroit Independent Freedom Schools Movement, founder and organizer with over 100 million members of the Hampton University Alumni Authors. Hampton University Alumni Authors, member of the KAN or CAN Co-op Bookstore, founder and creative director of Detroit's African Town 313 Indie Short Film Festival, a 2019 Petty Propolis Arts Fellow at the historic Idlewild, which is up in Michigan, and winner of the 2019 Manor Biggers Artist Fund. So, wow. That's and adding more. So applause. Woo!
Yes. That's a lot. You've been busy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And she was a member of that HU band. She didn't put that part in there. I'm gonna put that part in
I
there.
didn't put that part in there, but yes, I was a marching force member at Hampton University. I played in the band, played in the jazz band. I always thought I was going to be a songwriter. So music was like a part of my life. That
Yes.
was there, yeah.
So she's multi-talented, okay? Right?
Yes, I see that.
You're probably a songwriter because when you get to the college level, even in high school at that point, especially if you went to MLK, we know you are writing songs at that point. So
I was. I went into Hampton majoring in audio engineering because I wanted to be a songwriter. So I'm like, if I'm going to write songs, I need to be able to learn how to record. So that's how I ended up majoring in audio. First majoring in audio engineering. I went intern at Teddy Riley's studio in Virginia Beach. Michael Jackson was recording. He kicked me out. I got to see Michael Jackson. So yeah, I started songwriting.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yes, I hid in the bathroom. They was like, can y'all tell the intern to get out? I was like, I'm gonna meet Michael Jackson.
And they said, no, she gotta go.
They was like, tell the intern to leave, please. So yeah.
Not stalker status.
I was in the bathroom, like, I'm not going nowhere till I meet Michael Jackson. They was like, man, we gonna call the police on you if you don't leave.
Oh.
But I was determined.
Look, oh my God. So you didn't get a chance to meet him, I would assume.
No, they kicked me out.
Oh.
They kicked me out.
At least you were in the presence of greatness. Like I was in the bedroom next to him. We were not in the stall together.
Right.
You can feel him there.
Right. But that's cool. I mean, that's like unheard of. Honestly, you're like the first person I've ever met that even remotely was close to him like that. Like I went to a concert and had the glove and the socks, but we talking about something completely.
The gloves and
I still got my dog, girl. I was in love with Michael Jackson.
That has to be a souvenir.
It is. I still got the purse. I got the dog. He still got the microphone. I don't think I got the poker. I got the jacket, girl. Yeah.
Oh wow, yes, that's a definite souvenir.
All right, so we want to talk about, so you guys know, I mean, if you go to her website, you'll see there's so many different things that she's done. There's a lot of different material. But one of the biggest things that I wanted to definitely have her on is because I saw her promote it and I was like, ding, 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 we're going to bring her in. So you have a new book coming out, correct?
Correct. It's in the final editing stages and the pre-sales go Black Friday, November. I think that's the 28th, that Friday. And then the release date is going to be June 10th, 2025, because Detroit Housewives League was founded on June 10th. So I wanted to honor that date. I'm big on, just showing reverence to things. And I definitely wanted to give more time, for the editing process too, and push it back to June 10th.
Wow, that's dope. So tell us a little bit about, like, give us a snippet if you want to, if it's something you want to read or however you want to do this. This is your thing. I'm going to let you just take full control and Talia and I would just ask the questions and get into the details when we get there. So tell us, what is the title? And I'm going to put it up here, you guys. But I want you to bring us into this book. What is this about?
Sure. So the title of the book is called The Detroit Housewives League. And I'm going to open up with a quote from the founder, which is Mrs. Fannie B. Peck. She says, "We urge every colored housewife in Detroit to join to help stimulate the Negro business and to create jobs for our boys and girls by spending their money where it will do most in making the race economically strong." That's Mrs. Fannie B. Peck, Detroit president and founder of the Detroit Housewives League. Later, 3 years later, on August 10th, 1933, it was called the National Housewives League, because at that point they had gained over 10,000 members.
Wow.
Really?
And it was, her husband was the founder of the Booker T. Washington Association around the same time, 1930s. And the Detroit Housewives League was more of an auxiliary organization, but it was founded by a lot of members of the church her husband was a pastor at Bethel AME. Yeah. And that's the church that I actually would attend summer programs and stuff at. So I knew about the housewives, but not until I got into an adult did I understand the significance of these women, because they weren't, this is not the housewives we see on TV.
Oh, no.
These are not that. This is not that. These are women who came together and said to the community, outside of Black Bottom, we'll talk about that in a minute, but to other businesses saying, hey, if you don't hire Black men, we're not going to spend our money with you.
That part.
It's just that simple.
Nice.
If you don't support us, we're not supporting you. And we can't do, all of these other things you may be able to do as a business, but we can control our power as far as economics and where we spend our money. So I thought that was just a powerful, statement to say to the community, because they not only said that to, other white, Jewish, or German or Polish companies, they would tell Black people too, hey, if you don't support this boycott, you next. If you're not supporting this boycott,
I love that.
Your business is going to be boycotted too. So I love these women. Yeah. This is not the housewives where they just throwing parties and stuff. And they did throw parties and, did a lot of fun things in the community. But these women, what they say, stand on business.
Yes.
These women were about. So I've been researching these women for quite a while, especially knowing that, during the summers, I would attend their summer programs for the youth. And it was started on June 10th, 1930s. But in 1986, the organization was dismantled and everything. So right now it's not a current organization at all. But I wanted to tell this important story because this is our history. And what other person, when I pitch books to like different publishing companies, one of the main questions are, why should you write this book? Why are you writing this book? And I was like, I'm writing this book because it's our story. These are women from my community that were from Black Bottom. My family's from Black Bottom. My mother's family is from Indianola, Mississippi. When they moved to Detroit, their house was right in Black Bottom on Lafayette.
Wow.
Where the actual freeway is. Right now, there's an actual freeway that actually bulldozed through those Black Bottom, with majority Black businesses. Now, there were over 300 Black businesses in that community. And I'm going to just list some of those businesses because I list them in my book. And one thing I do very well in this book is I give reference to the actual address and the actual owners of these businesses. Because sometimes they like to put Black Bottom in a certain box, certain streets, but I have the addresses and the actual location of these businesses that say otherwise, that it was a lot larger than what it was.
Wow.
So the list of some of these businesses were 151 positions, 140 social workers, 85 lawyers, 71 beauty shops, 57 restaurants, 36 dentist office, 30 drugstores, 25 barber shops, 25 dressmakers and shops, 20 hotels. And I list some of those hotels in my book too, because some of the housewives, the housewives and their husbands, they own these hotels. 15 fish and poultry markets, 10 hospitals. We had our own hospitals in the 1930s that serviced us. 9 insurance companies, 7 building contractors, 5 flower shops, 2 bondsmen, and the list goes on and on. Because one thing the Detroit Housewives did very well, they kept a record of the businesses that were in Black Bottom, in Paradise Valley, which is an adjacent community from Black Bottom, and that was more for entertainment. So they did a very good job of keeping record, and I have those records because I've been doing research for the last 7 years.
Wow.
Even one of the Black businesses, I actually put it in my poetry book because when I think of Madam C.J. Walker and the hair care product, I know I'll send it to you so you can put it in there. Yeah. But they listed the Seminole Indian Hair Grower Company, where they actually made their own hair pomade, and they list the address and the agents. And they just did an excellent job of keeping record of these businesses. Awesome. So nice. That's just one of the things too that empowered me to write this story. And I'm a screenwriter, so I wrote it in 3 acts, right? So the first act is the echoes of Black Bottom. So in that first chapter, the first act, I am actually listing a lot of the businesses, who these people were, where they were located, where they were from. And my protagonist in my story is named Ruth. Okay. And I named her after my father's grandmother because she was named Ruth and she was also from Alabama. So this character's from Alabama. Her and her husband actually moved to Detroit, like everyone else who's migrating, or I say escaping the South, right, to Detroit to work. Yeah. And you can't be in this city at that time and not be inspired to create your own business. So in the story, that B story too is also about them, trying to find a business to create. Now they're in the Motor City. What business should they start? Mm-hmm. The Motor City, the car companies is something that motivated them to start their own. Wow. So I talk about that, but I also talk about she's adopted, Ruth, that main character, mm-hmm. but her parents are from Detroit. But what I'm talking about is the native tribes that are here in Detroit that she doesn't know she's a part of. Another thing that inspired me to write the story is about the Fox Indian Massacre. I'm always studying like war and, tribal beefs and fights like that. So when I found out about the Fox Indians and their fight against the French for the land here in Detroit, I had to incorporate that as far as the story. It's her trying to find out who her parents are and her mother actually being from that tribe.
Wow.
So I incorporate that.
Think about it until you just said something literally about
it. You can look up the Fox Indian Massacre in Michigan, in Detroit. It actually happened where the French took their land. These Native Americans moved further towards Grosse Pointe, which is like further south. The French followed them and killed them there too. It was more not about we want your land. We don't want you to exist. So I write that and I incorporate that so importantly because, Detroit is a majority Black city, but I don't want in 100 years people come back, and say it used to be Black people that used to live here, and the importance of how gentrification looks and colonization can actually change the whole scene of where you're living. So I definitely incorporated that in the book.
Wow. That is I'm so excited because that's kind of, I think both Talia and I, she may be more than I am, but I love researching and reading about stuff like that. As well as like my brother's probably the most in depth. I'm talking about Keith, Talia. Okay. And he'll tell me, I'm like, what? Where you learn that from? So like a example. Yeah, when I went to Natchez, which is where our family is from, well, obviously it's our maternal father side, right? Is so much history that was there as well, to where I learned I didn't even know it existed, is how when they were going to go and vote, how they were actually poisoned and given a laxative.
Oh, wow.
And they were locked in a jail cell. And now there's an actual monument up in Natchez, up the street from where our grandfather's funeral home is. And then I learned about how it was burned down and so many people had died, a little further up in another area. Then in the same spot where like our grandfather's funeral home is, I also learned how that's actually where they would sell the slaves that they brought in, because Natchez was the highest, I guess you could say the richest city when it came to slave owners. So it was just like, my God, you look at how many Black businesses became in that area. Like it's like Natchez is on Black Bottom, right? So, and I kind of wanted to step back because obviously not everybody's from Detroit, right? Especially, Talia. So educate us in terms of, and we heard the businesses, but to kind of summarize it, where is Black Bottom, or where was it? And what happened to it? Because I know the story, but I wanted Talia and everybody else, the audience, to hear what is Black Bottom.
Yes. Well, first, I'm glad you shared that story about your family. That knowledge itself is so powerful. I didn't know that information. So now I get to, research that information you just shared too. So thank you. Mm-hmm. And then for Black Bottom, it's located more closer to downtown. There's a 375 freeway that runs downtown. That is where Black Bottom was. And it stretches farther to like Shane, a little past Gratiot, just to give people a thought of, geography wise, where Black Bottom is. You can research the map. It'll show you a 1951 map, but Black Bottom started in like the 1900s. So it reaches actually further than that map that's being showed online. When you research it and pull it up, it reaches further than that. And I have the addresses of those businesses. That's how I know why. And it's an area where it was predominantly Black business, but it was kind of called a slums too, because you had a very large Jewish community there. You have a lot of immigrants who moved to Detroit. If they were poor, that's where they moved. And Black people were segregated to that community because we could not purchase property or live outside of that community. There were laws in the contracts of the real estate saying, hey, if you own this house, you are forbidden to sell it to a Black person. And that's why I mentioned Dr. Osane Sweet a little bit in my story, because he was one of those people that was from Black Bottom, he was a physician, very well known and educated, just phenomenal person who purchased a house outside of that community. And I mentioned that in my book too, just to give the layout of what was going on in the 1930s, because it was a lot of different fights going on, not just Black people trying to have their businesses, but just living and having just a better way of life, because Black Bottom was just overflowing. I mean, you have all these people migrating from the South. It's bustling at the seams as far as where people live. The living conditions weren't that well. My great aunt, I asked her, I said, and I just asked her on a whim, what was y'all address when y'all lived in Black Bottom? She actually remembers the address. So I put the address in my book. So you're going to have to check out the book so you can just see information. And it was on Lafayette Street. And then I asked her, I said, well, if that was the address, wouldn't it be further down Lafayette? She said, no. When they bulldozed Black Bottom, they reassign a lot of the addresses too. So what it does is displace you historically too, as far as changing the addresses, changing the location. When I talk about that knowledge itself, if you know, but sometimes you're giving history instead of actually knowing it. So just talking about Black Bottom and the area it was, but Paradise Valley was an adjacent to it, and that was a big entertainment district. So in my book, I talk about the Chocolate Bar, and that was located on 632 East Livingston Street in Paradise Valley. And if you're from Detroit, if you know the Children's Hospital, even if you're not, you can look the Children's Hospital in Detroit. Across the street is the location I'm talking about when I'm talking about the Chocolate Bar location.
Really?
A lot of where Paradise Valley had businesses as far as bars and entertainment district. You talking about Duke Ellington coming to perform, Ella Fitzgerald, Della Reese. She was actually from Black Bottom. So all these phenomenal Black entertainments came here to Detroit in that area called Paradise Valley to perform and entertain. And a lot of Black men had bars and businesses there. And Mr. Dawson, he owned the Chocolate Bar. So I incorporate actually businesses in my book. And he had something called the Go-Go Dancers. So I don't know if you all remember the movie The Idlewild, when the women have these ostrich furs and they're dancing in these beautiful shimmery bodysuits dancing. And that's what I describe in my book as far as the Chocolate Bar. Because he had a phenomenal, you have to have something to catch you to get people, to come in your bar. So he had these women called the Go-Go Dawson's Chocolatiers. And I got that name and stuff because the founder of Detroit Housewives, Mrs. Fannie Peck, did a great job with her tell us where the businesses are and what they were. They just did an excellent job of doing that. So that was actually a real bar. The Go-Go Dawson's Chocolatiers was a real dance group. And I talk about, I created a story around that too, about, because she, her husband worked at the plants like mostly everyone did. But at night, she will kind of work at the bar because, back then you needed more income, to survive. So I talked about that.
Wow.
So who are the ladies on the front of the book in the picture? It's like four ladies.
Yeah, so this is a picture. I know she's going to share them later, but this is a picture of the four of the Detroit Housewives. Now, the thing is, I don't know their names. I got this picture from the Detroit Library. A lot of my research I did get from the Detroit Library. I wish I couldn't. I've been asking for these women's names. I think as the book come out, maybe people reach out to me and tell me and let me know who these names are. Because, not everyone moved out of Detroit. Some of their maybe descendants or family may still be here. I would love to know their names because names are very powerful. But the picture is so powerful because these women just look like they just didn't play.
They look like they mean business.
They have actual suitcases in their hand. One thing the Detroit Housewives was good at was promoting in the community, if it was newsletters, word of mouth, or having events, letting people know, hey, we have a boycott. This is the business on our list. These are the businesses we are supporting. We need you to purchase and support these businesses. These are the businesses we are not supporting. We are not spending our money with, and just how powerful the community became because of that mindset.
Yeah.
And the reason why we understood why the city and the state of Michigan and our federal government bulldozed the freeway through this community. Because if you have that type of mindset, 100 years later,
unstoppable,
how powerful could that community look like and be? Yes. And Black Bottom wasn't just in Detroit. I mean, we had strong Black communities like that in Durham, North Carolina. You think of Tulsa, Oklahoma. You think of Rosewood in Florida. So many communities. And just think 100 years later, if those communities were left to survive, how strong, our communities would be.
Yeah. And I think that I saw that they're actually, for the first time ever, I don't know, I'm pretty sure you saw it in Nzinga, but that they are actually opening up the case. Now, we don't know. I ain't read all the details, but that they're opening up the case regarding the Tulsa massacres and devastation and bombing and whatever else it was. I know there's so many different documentaries I personally have watched, especially during COVID. I was in there like watching nonstop stuff, probably in like overload, but to where you sit there and you listen to it and you watch it and you're like, this is just what we're learning.
Yes, I love the Booker T. Washington Association. They're still doing amazing things in the community. So thank you to your husband for, creating that legacy and continuing that legacy in the city of Detroit.
Yes, him as well as Ken Harris, another HBCU graduate, and he is very pro-Black, and he actually has taken the organization, everything else, and he's made it global now. So now he is the most traveling person I've ever met in my life, outside of a actual Delta or American Airlines, or I've never in my life. And it's not like little travels. Like I'm in Africa and I'm in Greece and I'm like, sit down, but I empower that type of stuff, right? Because, we've heard stories growing up, and I know Talia has, and she grew up in the South, right? But to sit there, and I actually have it up on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, but to learn, the interaction of the KKK that our family directly ran into, our own uncles and great uncles or whatever were run out by the KKK because we were establishing the NAACP in the actual city of Natchez. So he had to flee to Chicago. So that's actually on a plaque in Natchez. So, you come down here, and our family came from Baltimore. I just learned that as well. I did not know that. But they came there, and they came there with money, right? So for you to literally talk about like Black Bottom, and I had no idea, even being from the Metro Detroit area, that it was that big. Because you see the map, like you say, the map shows you like this big. What she is describing, I mean, there's no way you're going to have that many hospitals and that many hotels and that many businesses and barbers in the vicinity of what they show you. There's absolutely no way it wouldn't be possible. So now that you have broken that down so much more, like I'm eager to read more about this book. You have me like, I'm like, if somebody don't come and tap on her and help make this a movie, something, make this a 3-part series.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'm a screenwriter. So since I finished the book now, I'm writing a script for it now. Yeah, love it. I'll be done with that. It doesn't take me that long to write a script for it. So it maybe take about 2 weeks.
Really?
2 weeks? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 2 weeks. Wow.
And I talk about Black Bottom too, because I went to school in an elementary school called Duffield. And that was a prominent school in Black Bottom where all the Black people attended. Joe Lewis, he attended Duffield Elementary. My grandmother, all my great aunts and uncles attended Duffield Elementary. And so did I. And one of a teacher I had, her name is Miss Campbell. Some of you may know if you attended Duffield. I, was able to speak with her as an adult and just telling her, just thanking her how great of an educator she was. And she was like, and I was telling her about my book, the Detroit Housewives League, and about Black Bottom. She was like, well, I grew up in Black Bottom too. I said, so not only did you grow up in Black Bottom, you came back to teach in Black Bottom. It's a different history I have with the association with Black Bottom, as far as my family and the educators and the people around me. Even in the 1930s, when those teachers in Duffield took over the curriculum along with many DPS teachers and said, we are going to teach these children this curriculum because they need it. And that's what they did. So just coming from that, and my grandmother and great aunts and uncles, they attended Miller High School. So when I was growing up, Miller was a middle school, and that's a predominant school in Black Bottom area too. Detroit still exists, but it's been converted to a charter school. You know, one thing about gentrification, you have to take over the schools first, and then people start coming, because you know teaching is a white woman's career, actually. You know, so they have to take over the schools first. So it's been converted to a charter school now. But growing up, it was a high school, and my grandmother actually attended that high school. And I attended Duffield, and I also attended Spain. Now, Spain school was further on Mac near St. Antoine. When I mentioned across from Children's Hospital, that's where Spain Middle School is. But that was a predominantly Paradise Valley.
Gotcha.
Area. And it's funny because Spain Middle School was very heavy in the arts. So it was a performing arts school. And I knew growing up the area that I was in. This is Paradise Valley. This is where Black people came to perform for the community, make money, and just be awesome in their art. You know, so growing up, I knew that. I learned that. And the antagonist in my book, his name is called Mr. Cass. I named him Mr. Cass for a reason.
Mr. What now? KSI.
His name is Mr. Cass. He's the owner of the meat factory that I created that laid off all the Black men in Detroit, and where the women of Detroit Housewives say, hey, we need to come together and boycott. But I named that antagonist named Mr. Cass because there's a prominent high school in Detroit named Cass. But
where actually,
yes, where your husband went. But the school was named after a man who was actually a slave owner.
Yes.
So I just incorporate that name with the story, you know, just creating a story and kind of sticking a little bit more to his legacy of who he was. So that is the antagonist.
Are a cult. Okay. No.
They're a cult?
Put that in there. Shout out to all the CT people. It's all love. It's all love. But she told you I was king, so you know.
Yeah, they're like the crosstown rivals, basically, right? I'm like,
it's a football game tonight. Yep, they're playing Cass and King. Yeah.
Like, first of all, where am I in y'all's alumni group? Who put me in this? I ain't even from Detroit. I'm from the burbs. Actually, I actually was born in Flint. And then when I was 3-4 years old, that's when my parents moved to Troy. So that's where I grew up. Right. But yeah, I don't know how I end up in all the Cast Tech invites. And I'm like, no. So we could be anywhere in the world, girl. We were in Vegas, saw somebody came somewhere else. I'm like, God, go sit down somewhere. Okay.
One thing about anywhere you go, you can find a Detroit, and you know who's from Detroit, because we just have this grind and grit and hustle that just a lot of people just don't have. Like, we can make nothing out of something.
Yeah,
you know, I felt so empowered to create my own publishing company, because I'm pitching this book to some large publishing houses, and in the voice of Fannie B. Peck, the founder of the Detroit Housewives, I'm like, I just need to self-publish because it's our story. I need to control it. Like I said, June 10th would be the release date, but I can actually release this book next month if I wanted to, because I can control it, and I own the copyright, and I own the publishing, and I can print it and sell it how I want to. So it's just power in that, you know. So
yeah, I like that.
I wish I could get a large publishing, but some stories, you know, we have to control, because who's to say someone will sign and just shelve it?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True. That's what I was going to ask you about. How was that process for you creating your own publishing, your own publishing company, publishing your own books? How did that come about?
Yes, because I've always pitched, book ideas, and poetry is one of the things that's very hard for publishers to pick up. It's not a great sale, as far as like, sales for a publishing company. So I just created my own company, have my own business account, and the first thing I did was trademark my name.
I was just about to say that.
I think of Tina Turner, that ancestor who said, you can have everything else, but I want my name.
Yeah.
Right. I want my name, so just the power in that, and just the power of being able to control your own narrative, because a lot of times people would change your history, change your words. Yes. I'm from Detroit. I sound like I'm from Detroit. I know in my head what I sound like, especially going to school in Virginia and Hampton, going to school in California State. I'm in Cali and I'm talking. They like, where are you from? But I want to be as authentic as possible when I'm speaking, when I'm writing, and the voice. When you're talking about character and character development as a writer, there's different voices you want to hear characters in. And if I'm writing about Detroit from Detroit, you want to hear that character and those voices and the development in that. And when you think of the 1930s, these people were very, very intelligent. And you read the writings of them back then, it's very more sophisticated than the writings that we have now.
Yeah.
So you think of a Southern drawl or something, no, these writings were phenomenal. So just being authentic to our culture and our history and being self-published is just important to me. And it's just, it folded. I said I was going to try. I said, I'm going to try, to get big published and everything. But if not, now I can grind it out and, do my book signings and schedule different meetings and schedule different publishing. I just have to do the work, and I'm not shy of working. So
I like that. That's a great attitude to have, especially when you face rejection and you just like, cool, I'll just do it myself. You know what I mean? I like that. I did have another question. What do you want people to take away from this book? Do you want them to go and research it? Or tell me more about that.
Well, the book will be available on my website, and it'll be available on Amazon and Apple Books and things like that. But I want people to take away our history and how powerful we are together. These were a group of women who worked together, and I like chess games, right? I like playing chess. I like board games and card games and everything. And I think about the chess game a lot, and I like that game more than most, is because you have all these pieces, they're playing their positions, right? But you have this queen on the board. She can play every position on the board. I mean, she can move like a knight, move like a pawn, she's all over the board. But if she's taken off the board, the game still goes on, because the most important piece on that board is the king. And the Detroit Housewives understood that. They saying if the men in our community are not working, they're not employed, the game is over. For our families. So they understood that. So I want people to take away that as a community, we need each other. And that if we are building for the next, generation, we can actually just keep moving forward and not being stagnant. These are called housewives. These women were young, 20, 23. You think of wives, people like to push people further. Oh, get married later, get married. If you're married in your 20s and building in your 20s, your husband, wife, and raising children in a household that's built like that, I mean, that's power. And people know that, because if the king is taken off the board, the game is over. You have households without that man in the home, the game could be over. So I just want people to take away these women coming together. They not on TV fighting. It's not that housewives. They not, doing no drama. They are setting a standard, saying we need our Black men in our community with employment. We need to have employment. We need businesses, and we need to support each other. So,
and I wish that, and I hope and I pray that this book reaches the audiences that it needs to reach. Because right now we are so separate and segregated as a culture, as male and female. You just look around and it's devastating, right? So this is 2024. I can't imagine where it's almost like we're walking into extinction, because you look around and we've already been through decades and centuries of things being disrupted, right? In our entire Black culture all around, right? But then now you have this division of power struggles, right? Amongst Black men and Black women, to where there is no division. I mean, there is no what do you call it? Because how you not even talking
unity
before. Yeah, there's no unity. It's just tit for tat. It's just so much. And then you look at, we're falling backwards in everything that we're doing versus the other cultures they're still moving forward. You know what I'm saying? They're lifting each other up. And it's so much anger and negative energy. It's just everybody's vibrations are just off, right? And I just feel looking at these women that were uplifting each other, and then the men, obviously they uplifted them, as well. Because of that dynamic in that culture, you look at how Black Bottom came about, right? And you look at today, there's nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, man, it's just sad. So I hope that this book empowers people. I hope that it lets people realize we need each other, right? We were put here to be with each other. I hope that they realize like we are stronger together, not individually, like just running all across the world, but the importance of that, because when you are jointly together with someone, it is one of the most powerful things you can exhibit. It's one of the most powerful things you can feel. And the way that that person and that environment can lead you and push you to the next level is unstoppable. And literally the only way that they could do that to destroy it, the same way they did the Native Americans, right? Because they were so powerful, is by bulldozing down and literally lynching, killing, destroying. But now we're lynching and killing and destroying within our own communities.
Right. I know your audience too. There's going to be a lot of activists watching and just people who may want to even do something. There's a professor at U of M. His name is Stephen Ward on change.org. This is on the third page of my book. It says sign a petition, because I always do an action call, right? This is not just just to learn something, but it's an action too. And this is sign the petition, #YouMish Regentrifiers. And what it's saying is, Black Bottom now, they want to dislocate their freeway and put nice high price condos. And if you know anything about Detroit, those condos they're building downtown is $500,000
plus.
Think of the mortgage at a 7%. That's crazy. So asking people to sign this petition, because this is going to displace even more people. But once you raise that freeway, you're going to displace a lot of the businesses there. Mm-hmm. And anything you know about raising like a freeway, no one is talking about all the rats that's going to be infiltrating the community once they do that. So there is an action call that people can do, you know what I'm saying? And it's called sign a petition at change.org, Michigan Regentrifiers. And Stephen Ward has done a great job. I went to the city council meeting. They gave the plan. This company gave the plan of how they want to build these
condos and stuff.
Condos, but the plan was only 30% laid out. It wasn't even 100%. So they're playing in our face. So if you want to do something, sign that petition and just look more into what they're trying to do. Because are they going to give my grandparents their land back? That's why I always say freedom land. Because if you want to do that and change the community and put $500,000 condos there, you're displacing more people and displacing the businesses that are already there. And they're not just Black businesses. You got Greektown right there. Yeah. You want to displace everybody when you raise that freeway, because no one is thinking about the social economics as far as all the rats, all of things that are going to go right into the community. They did it when they removed 96 freeway. The community complained so much. People can research it, complain so much. Those rats went from like 5 miles from the freeway into the community. So I just want to put a place on that, as far as like we can still do something and our voices are still strong and we can talk and fight back still.
Yes, I love it. Well, I am excited. So when you do also release, I want to ask you, are you going to do like an audiobook or anything?
Yes, I want to do an audiobook. I sound too country to record it. I am going to have someone else to do that. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses, right?
Right.
So I'm definitely going to have an audio. It just won't be me. And before we go, I want to mention about my poetry magazine. I'm working on my 5th edition. Everything's on my website, NzingaLejeune.com. My handles are all at Nzinga Lejeune. First thing I did was took my name and make sure I had my name on every social media. So it's all the things.
I love that.
Can Books. It's a co-op bookstore, meaning the members actually run the bookstore. So we all take turns, at the cash register, take turns cleaning, opening up. But we have different events there, and we own the bookstore as a collective.
Give me that address for that one.
That address is,
I think it's
on West 7 Mile. And our opening is November 12th. It's 16225 West 7 Mile in Detroit.
Right here.
And the opening will be November 12th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. The website is kanbooks.org.
Yes. And if you are an author, how do you get the book into that store?
Yes, become a member. If you go to the website, there's a sign up sheet you can do. You can have your book there as a co-member, co-author. You can have events there. You can do podcasts there. Anything you want as an author, as a co-op member, as a co-owner. I'm a member of the Detroit Food People's Co-op too. It's just power in coming together and doing things. So
that's awesome.
And lastly, my new book. I know you guys will share the cover for that book. I'm working on another novel, and it's called Prenup or Die.
Wait, prenup or die?
Prenup or die. I
love it. Okay,
it's based on a true story. My story. I was scheduled to be married this year, and I cannot and will not get married without a prenup. And this book is about getting married and how the husband refused to sign a prenup. And then the day before the wedding. And so
guess we ain't getting married then, boo.
And we can't get married. And then, and I'm in my 30s, I ain't gonna say my age, right? But when you're a little older, if you're a woman with assets, a woman with businesses, you really think about, your future. Marriage looks different a little later in life than when you're younger. And so, protecting yourself and your assets and things is important. So that book, if anything, thank you for my book. You'll make you famous, right?
Look, and you sound like Tanya. She just says this big grown age. That's what she
said. Yeah, I said my big grown age.
Yes, but that's a story I have, and I'm gonna get it out. And I have the book cover. And
I didn't know that.
Girls are gonna be blown away. You're gonna be blown away. Marriage look different. So older. So you can read that next year.
That's so exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, you are such a pleasure. So positive too.
Thank you.
Just like even in the beginning with the patience you had, it had a great attitude about it. I like that.
Oh yeah. Sometimes you don't understand things. Even with like my new book, The Prenup, you like, well, why would this marriage end like this? And just things happen for a reason, you just have to be grateful and thank God. And I'm gonna reveal the gratefulness that I have in that book.
What's the Beyonce song? Best Thing I Never Had.
Best Thing I Never Had. Right. What's another Beyonce song? Don't Hurt Yourself.
Yeah.
Don't hurt yourself. You trying to hurt me, you hurt yourself. So yeah. Beyonce phenomenal entertainer. So yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask one question I meant to ask earlier. What is the Plandemic about?
Oh my goodness. I wrote that during 2020, and it's about COVID-19. And I wrote poems, kind of correlating it to ski experiment with COVID. How a lot of people were, couldn't work at their job unless they took this shot. Yeah. I wrote poems about, Michigan. They call Michigan the Mississippi of the South, right?
Yes.
There's more KKK chapters here.
Didn't I tell you? I said this.
I don't doubt it. Nothing is surprising to me.
There are more KKK chapters here in Mississippi. I wrote a poem. I used to go to a Wildwood Ranch camp, and it was in Howell, Michigan, where the president of the KKK is. And I talk
don't
about
doubt it.
Yeah, I talk. The campers, they would tell us don't go in the fields at night. Well, we saw crosses burning when we used to attend that camp. And they would tell us don't go in those fields. But at night, we kids, we don't go in those fields. And we would see those crosses burning. So Plandemic is just about a lot of racism as far as Michigan, how in the medical field, we are disenfranchised. And I just got it out. Like 2020 was crazy. Like, and it's funny, like, because people act like it didn't happen. I'm like, that actually happened. People were fired, couldn't get employment if they did not take, a COVID shot. And that should be, I know they say public health, but are we free or are we not free? And to me,
I definitely wasn't free. I couldn't get my job.
2020 showed us how free we are. And so I have to get it out in the poem and the poetry. And it's just I think I'm banned on Amazon with that book. I think if you try to search it, I have to self-publish because they wouldn't let me promote it. It's crazy.
They're like, no, man, I'm sorry.
They're like, Amazon made billions during COVID.
Really did.
Let's be clear.
Yes, okay. Especially with films, especially in the film industry, if you're not, filming books went up. The book sales went up, and it was wonderful to see as far as people reading and things like that. But that was a scary time. A lot of people died. Condolences to anyone who lost any family members around that time. I mean, it was serious. Mm-hmm. And I just remember the doctor in Birmingham. He's a white older doctor in his 70s. He was giving shots, vitamin C shots, to help people with COVID, and he was like arrested and his office was raided. I mean, that time was very crazy. So it
was a crazy time.
If you want to read the crazy, just pick up that book. It's on my website.
All right. Well, we appreciate you so very much. So we're gonna have to definitely have you come back and update us in terms of this next book, because now I'm in here because I was like, wait, what? Because I could have sworn like I ain't asked that question because
Yes, ma'am. So I'm single.
Oh my God. Like
That's all right. Yeah, back on the mic.
I'm a single woman, but the last 2 years I was a wife, a stepmother of a 3-year-old, and so just like that 360 degrees of knowledge Sister Soldier talks about, it's just seasons. Women, we have our seasons, and the best thing we can do is just get through it and get to it.
Yes.
I want to read one more quote. It's in my book. This is the first quote I have, because I have 15 chapters. I have 15 different quotes from phenomenal women. They're all women, and it says, I have always said one of my superpowers is that when I'm gripped by an idea, I find other people who are passionate about it and create a passionate community. That's from Fawn Weaver. She is the founder and CEO of Uncle Nearest Whiskey, a $1 billion company. So
yes. Man, she gave me chills this episode, y'all. If y'all didn't learn something, oh, you must be on the wrong podcast, because y'all must be watching the other Real Housewives a little bit too much if you didn't pick up something from this episode. Because baby, I'm in the mood of I need to jump on some books and some audios and everything else. So, but thank you so much. We definitely wish you the best of luck. It has been a pleasure. I think I am not going to edit a damn thing out of this episode. We gonna post this as is, because everything, I would hate to not put anything in here that you have educated us with. So thank you so much. I'm over here like, well, maybe she should do the Mackle family, Talia.
The Mackle family.
Yeah. She'd be like,
research us?
God, yes. I think she should.
Oh, God.
And the Mackle Funeral Home, because wow. And but thank you so very much. I we're excited. Let us know. Maybe we'll pop up if you're doing like a pop up for your official release or something like that.
Yeah.
I would definitely love to be there. So, and any other information you guys want, please do reach out to her. We already gave the website, which is right here. And there's a contact form on there. You can sign up on her website and put everything in there. So if you want to find out any new releases, you can also check out all of her other poetry books and everything that she has done, including the TV shows that we mentioned. So I'm like, man, I got material I need to catch up on, because
season 2 was just filmed this summer, Street Legal. So shout out to DR2 Productions, Dennis Reed. Detroit is big for the independent film scene. Everything I wish Barry Gordy stayed in Detroit to do, the youth doing it. Detroit owns Tubi as far as like content. So please look out for season 2 of Street Legal. It should be out in a month. They're still editing. I'm seeing the edits, and the story and the show is phenomenal. So I can't wait for people to see season 2. Season 1 was on Tubi, but I think they're re-editing it, so you'll be able to see season 1 and 2 at the same time a little later. Okay. Probably end of November, December.
Excited.
Maybe.
But again, thank you so much. And you guys, if you are interested in being a guest, you want to be a sponsor, you got an idea, you want to ask us questions, whatever it is, you can hit us up at 50shadesoflife@gmail.com. That's 50SHA8DES of life@gmail.com. Our website is loading, so please do stay tuned. We have some merch that's coming up, and I had that idea about the Talia one. She doesn't know I'm actually going to create this new merch, and it's going to be all the different expressions of Talia on this shirt and all of her hairstyles. It's a collage on a cream hoodie of some sort.
Beige, like a tan. What did you say was tan? Neutral colors or something you said. Yeah.
So you guys definitely stay tuned. But again, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on here. Talia, love you very much. And you guys have a great day. Deuces.
My own black business, running up these dishes, fresher than them dishes.
Talia, grant your wishes. I'm a tarot reading witness.
Yeah.